Hello everybody and welcome back. Good to talk to all of you again today. And today we're doing a ship review for this Tier 10 Soviet cruiser, the Smolensk. This is the new coal ship that has arrived in patch 0.8.7. And if your first question is, should I get her, and you want the sort of the short version answer, the answer is abso-freaking-lutely. This ship is totally and utterly ridiculous. Now, please do keep in mind that this is patch 0.8.7. And if you're watching this video in future patches, there's a possibility this ship has gotten nerfed. So please do check on what the statistics are like for her in the future, because for me, the ship just screams it'll get nerfed someday. All right, and here's sort of the reasons why. First things first, look in port view, then I'll show you in battle, and you'll understand why the ship is just crazy. Okay, so first things first, armor layout. She is a light cruiser, 16mm bow, 16mm stern. So yeah, you know, battleship AP, it'll hurt. However, take a look at this. Deck, upper belt, 30mm. So she does have some degree of protection, right? In fact, most of the high damage stuff is actually going to be either full broadside, you know, you eat citadel, or you take one through the bow. But if you angle correctly, she can actually be surprisingly durable, which is kind of shocking. But yeah, she can eat citadel, so you know, she is an ultralight cruiser. She can't get blapped. Okay. Moving on. Small hit point pool, 32,400, but she does get a heal, so that combined with the fact that she also has a smoke consumable, if you play her correctly, the chances of you dying is not very high. Anyhow, furthermore, let's take a look at the big main characteristic of the ship, and of course, that is the guns. She's got 16, that's right, 16 130mm. These are the Russian 130mm, so they have pretty decent ballistics. And you've got 16.6 kilometer range. So you got 16 of these guns that fire, of course, when you equip them correctly, every 4 seconds. You can still get that down even more if you opt to take one of the basic firing training skills. So that can get it down to like 3.6, right? So with just the reload module, 4 second, 16.6 kilometers, that's with advanced firing training. That is plenty of range, and with that reload, you spew out just an absolute metric ton of shells. So that combined with the fact that you've got 8% fire chance with flags, with IFHE, no demo expert by the way, just 8% alone, plenty of fires. And of course, because you carry IFHE, 28mm penetration. So that means if you run into other cruisers, your HE will hurt them. Of course, there is that proposed IFHE change that Wargaming keeps talking about, and I have tried Smolensk without IFHE. She's fine. You know, a little bit harder to deal with, you know, especially when you run into cruisers, but that sheer number of shells and fires will still screw them over. And plus, their superstructures are vulnerable. So, yeah. Furthermore, if you get full broadside, AP. Her AP does very nice damage. Let's just leave it like that. And plus 16 shells, man, holy god. She's also got some backup torpedo launchers, so if somebody gets really close, like, you know, inside 10 kilometers, with 8km torps, especially if they're rushing towards you, you can drop these torpedoes and you can score some hits potentially as well. Torpedoes are not really the main thing with Smolensk, but really, like, guns is going to be the thing. Her AA defense, pretty damn strong as well, because she does also carry either a choice between DFAA or hydroacoustic search. So if you want a little bit more utility against, like, you know, ships closer in, like destroyers and stuff like that, and you want to defend yourself against torpedoes and smoke, then hydroacoustic. But if you really hate carriers, DFAA. And with her AA, it is absolutely no joke. She will actually do some serious damage. So yeah, I mean, so far, she's pretty much all good. Okay, maximum speed 36.8 knots. She's pretty fast for a light cruiser. Turning circle radius 750 meters, not bad. Rudder shift time 8.2 seconds. Okay, that's a little bit slow, but then, hey, I'm running the propulsion module. If you decide to offer something like rudder shift, maybe you can get that rudder a little bit faster, but rudder's a tiny bit sluggish otherwise. Okay, and if you fully spec for concealment, surface detectability 10 kilometers, air detect 6 kilometers. Smolensk is, when you'll see it in battle, you understand. This thing just spews out HE shells, and pretty much whatever is in front of her will melt. right? I mean, you could be like in the most durable battleship, but she will still absolutely ruin your day. Okay, so in terms of captain builds, there is some interesting choices. I personally opted for this, which is basically priority target, preventative maintenance, get adrenaline rush, get superintendent because extra smoke charge, extra heal charge could be very useful, concealment, AFT, IFHE. So, this is the build I'm using, although you can opt for something different as well. So you could trade IFHE if you don't want it for like additional fire trans, and hey, that's an option. In terms of modules, this is how I've gone with it. I've done main armament mod 1, I've done damage control systems mod 1, I've gone with aiming systems mod 1, propulsion mod 2, concealment, and then I've done main battery mod 3. If you really want crazy range, you could definitely go with this and go for like 19-kilometer range, although not really all that good in my opinion, because the ballistics at 19 kilometers does start to fade. And then of course, yeah, this is her consumable. She's got damage control party, she's got either DFA or hydroacoustic, your pick. She's got 3 charges of smoke if you decide superintendent and premium smoke, and of course 4 charges of heal. So yeah, that's pretty much how she is in port. You will see her in battle in a second, and you can make your determination whether you think the ship is good or not. Alright, so on to the battle, and we're on Greece. And I'm showing this particular battle because there's actually 3 enemy Smolensks, which, my team had 1, they had 3. And as soon as I got in the game, I was like, oh, this is going to be one pain in the butt game. Because that makes my life actually kind of difficult, because Smolensks, especially if the enemy team has that many of them, if they focus fire, the amount of HE that will drop onto a target is substantial. I mean, make no mistake, being on the receiving end of a Smolensk's HE is not fun. I mean, you can just ask this Yamato in the next little while. Anyways, as a Smolensk, what you typically want to do at the beginning is don't blow your smoke right away, because you've only got 3 of them in total, assuming that you've gone superintendent and premium consumables, right? So you kind of want to save them for when you really need them. At the beginning, look for hard cover. So I've gone to this area, found myself an island that I can shoot over. Perfect, right? I don't really am going to suffer any kind of return fire from that Yamato. That Yamato can only basically eat HE from me. That's basically it. Now you will notice that my first couple, actually during this entire game, that I'm going to potato a lot of shots. And honestly, I'm not really sure what was going on with me today. Like, my entire day felt like my head was in the clouds kind of feeling. It was just really weird. Anyways, basically what you want to do is sling HE at targets that you can hit, because the amount of fires that you're going to get is quite substantial, especially like battleships. If you can get enough focus on them, enough fires, usually you're trying to aim for different zones, you're trying to like pick up multiple fires. Battleships generally don't enjoy that, and a lot of them will end up deciding to either try to escape that spam or try to duck into some kind of cover. But because you essentially have destroyer guns, when you actually get them downrange, these shells also have a tendency of just dropping down as well, which actually makes it even possible for you to continue to engage stuff as long as they're spotted, even if they get behind cover. Anyhow, that Yamato decided that was too much. Like, nope, not going to deal with it. Now, of course, if you're looking at this match, you probably noticed that my team has done something not so great, which is they've all decided to cluster into this one area, essentially surrendering the other flank. And that makes my life really challenging, because now I'm looking at the map and I'm like, the only chance that we have to potentially win this is actually for me to try to like push up, right? Like, get rid of this Yamato as quickly as possible, try to deal with the other 2 Smolensks on this flank, which is, again, a pain in the butt, because Smolensks, if they're in hard cover, they're really hard to dislodge, especially when you're trying to push them. The amount of shells they can get on you is absolutely ridiculous. So this Yamato, as you can see, is behind hard cover, but because of the way the shells arc, not an issue for me. I'm able to continue to get shells onto that particular Yamato and continue to pick up damage along the way. Hold on here. See if I can get another fire or something like that. I mean, this is not the best start. 30,000 damage is not the best start. I've actually had games where first couple of minutes I'm already up in the 70, 80, 90,000 range even, so this is not the best start, but that's okay. Situation is kind of different in this particular battle. It's got to be really wary of Smolensk. Especially because as Smolensk yourself, another Smolensk can also essentially quasi-counter you, because they can also sling that level of HE firepower at you, at your team, and you've really got to be mindful of that. So as you can see, there's another Smolensk there, also behind cover. I would almost say that that 07 Smolensk could have probably stayed in cover a little bit longer, to be honest, and maybe just continue to spam HE at us. I mean, the combination of that Smolensk and the other one, had they coordinated properly, and I had one battle where I did coordinate with a friendly Smolensk, we weren't even in voice chat, just decided to somewhat play together. The game ended in like no time flat. That game, 170,000 damage. So, yeah, you know, if they are coordinated, Smolensk's firepower is just terrifying. Actually, one of their Smolensk has actually picked up a kill already as well. Okay, so I'm trying to see if I want to do something here about these two Smolensks. I'm continuing to push up here with my Des Moines because I really want to at least get rid of one of them. Because if I can get rid of one, then I at least have a decent chance, right? 1-on-1, not too bad odds. 2 versus 1, not so much fun. The Des Moines on my team, in my division, is pushing up because, again, if the Smolensks go into smoke, then a Des Moines' ability to pop radar can help. By the way, Des Moines, if you're running into like IFHE Smolensks, those things can chunk your HP down rapidly. I think in another game I played today where I ran into one Worcester, one Des Moines, they were at 11 kilometers, so just outside of radar range. Each salvo that I put out with HE was doing almost 5k damage. So yeah, and with the rate of fire, it is lethal. Let's just leave it like that. So that Des Moines that had like 25,000 HP, well, by the time I'm actually able to deal with this Smolensk over here, I turn over and yeah, I mean, he's already been sunk. So you can see that it's like no joke. These things they can seriously, they can put the hurt on your team. Okay, but at least we've got rid of one of them. So that's good because there's only one more enemy Smolensk to deal with. So you've probably also noticed the ridiculous amount of shells that this thing can spew out. Well, wait till you see what happens when you're able to deal with enemy battleships out in the open where they don't have cover and you can pop that smoke and then just sit there and just start spamming. Yeah, the will to fight as a battleship, well, it kind of goes. It goes pretty quick. Like, you're ready for a fight and then you get spammed like that, and it's like that will to fight kind of goes. So far, the enemy team is doing really, really well, actually. I mean, they've managed to push us mostly to the side, and if you take a look at them, they're very grouped up together in the middle. Lots of battleships there. Hard thing to deal with. First, I got to deal with that Smolensk. But that Smolensk, as you can see, has already deployed smoke cover. And inside that smoke cover, I mean, unfortunately, I wasn't carrying Hydro, so there was no way for me to hard push them. With the FAA, I mean, it provides me some protection against their CV, but, you know, sometimes with Smolensk, this is like the one thing you'll kind of have that contemplation about, is sometimes you really wish you had Hydro, and then there will be other times where you really wish you had the FAA. There's no right answer. You pick, I guess, what you feel like you need to deal with the threats that you're going to face, right? So with me, I'm spamming some AP shells in there just in case that there's a Smolensk that is hiding in there, maybe broadside, you know, but of course, by the time that salvo hits, Smolensk is actually taken off. On my side, I am getting a little bit of support from the Monarch. Now, you can see that there's a Monarch here. Monarch is a tier 8 battleship. Against the Smolensk, if the Monarch is spotted, Monarch is actually in a bit of trouble. So instead of me hiding behind the island, you know, maybe hiding in my smoke, I'm actually going to push up relatively aggressively to try and, you know, assist this Monarch in this particular push. We actually really need to push through here. Getting rid of the Smolensk is a big deal. And I'm hoping the Monarch is a good shot. And the Monarch is actually, well, he's able to get some salvos in there, I think. Hold on here. Yep, shooting at a Smolensk at distance is actually not the easiest thing. The ship is not a very big ship. She's kind of small, and she's actually reasonably maneuverable. Like, she's not sluggish, right? I mean, the rudder's not fast, but she's not exactly sluggish. So, this Smolensk over here is doing absolute best to try to, you know, I guess escape or just continue shooting or whatnot. I'm just doing my absolute best to like pitch in what little damage and annoyances I can, incapacitating things here and there. And there you go. I'm chipping away at the HP, and then bang, there it is. All right. Monarch has killed off their Smolensk with not that much loss in HP. All right, now take a look at what's in front of us. Iowa, Jean Bart, Vladivostok. There's actually also a Bismarck over here soon, but take a look at what I can do. I can say, all right, this is time. All these battleships are out in the open. It is my turn to try to even the odds, right? Because right now, I mean, you know, we've got the Musashi up here as well. So, you know, hey, the battleships are fighting. I'm going to do my part, right? Start the spam. That is like Smolensk 101. You just pop a smoke out in the open somewhere, deploy that cover for yourself, and then you just start going to town. She's not good, by the way, solo. She does kind of need a little bit of team support in terms of providing vision and stuff, but if your team provides you with that, the vision, you can go to absolute town on their ships. And look at this Iowa, like 1 second ready to fight, next second like, nope, I don't want to deal with this. What is this crap? Like, look at the amount of shells, right? It's just like a torrent of stuff being thrown their way. And one fire. I want to get the second fire. That's really what I'm trying to get. I want the second fire here before I turn my attention to something else. Come on now. Yeah, come on. Where is that second fire? Waiting for that second fire. Come on, second fire. Ah, there it is. Second fire. All right, there we go. Second fire. That's going to stick. Turn my attention now to the Jean Bart and open up. And watch the salvos, because if you hit them right, they can do some pretty serious damage. That's 5.5k damage there and one fire. And just look at the number of shells that Jean Bart is going to have to deal with. It is a non-stop torrent. And it is, if you're on a battleship and you're playing and you're on the receiving end of this, it is disheartening as all hell. There's a second fire. So now the Jean Bart has to deal with all these other things and then the super annoying HE spammer that is setting fires. And then once you're done setting like 2 fires, you can either target additional fires, or what you do is you basically aim for the superstructure. And each salvo, if you're just targeting superstructure alone, even if it's like damage saturated, you're still gonna get like 2,000, maybe 2,500 damage like per salvo, which is absolutely, like there's 2,100, right? And that's just me targeting the superstructure. Okay, so 2 battleships down, and now my attention goes to the Bismarck. And the same thing, you know, you're going for the fires, and then once the fires are set, you start targeting superstructure. Now I'm gonna potato my aim here like horribly. This is like some potato level aim right here. I have no idea what's going on today. Like, I played like, there were some games today I played and I was like, what am I doing, you know? But yeah, I will still get this Bismarck eventually with these shots. Come on now. Come on now, Smolensk. You can do it. There we go. Now we're starting to land the shots. I don't know. Today was a really bizarre day for me. But even when I'm playing like absolute, like terrible games where I feel like I'm not really aiming as well as I should, I'm still getting quite a few games in that 170, 180, 190k damage range. Like realistically, I think if I aimed a little better and like maybe tomorrow when I'm more alert, I can probably break 200k relatively easily with Smolensk. Like, this is not a ship that is not going to do damage like every single game. If you are careful with your positioning, you know, you choose the right spots, you choose the right times to smoke, you choose the right targets, you are going to get damage. The end. I mean, it's actually disgusting when you think about the amount of stuff that you're flinging that can actually cause fires. It is actually quite disgusting. Yeah, I'm just like aiming like a potato right now. There we go. All right, somebody else finished them off. Perfect. Okay, so this game is actually a little bit more even, right? You know, enemy team has a Vladivostok, a Smolensk in the middle, and the Smolensk, of course, is actually captained by a relatively competent player in Arleo, so I've got to give him that degree of respect when trying to decide if I want to engage him or not. And there's the Smolensk torpedoes, by the way, from Arleos onto my division mate. That's a good torpedo, you know, attack. And you know, Smolensk can surprise people with the torpedoes. She's got them. They've got AK range, and you drop 5 of them, so you know you can actually surprise them. So now I've got a choice to make. My team, the Montana, the Minotaur, they're actually going for the A cap, Vladivostok, Smolensk in the B cap. We have an Iowa Shokaku near C, but it looks like the Vladivostok has decided to turn around to go and deal with stuff at A. Iowa's not particularly healthy. I'm a little too far north right now to immediately start engaging the Vladivostok. CV, from looking at the direction of the planes, is probably around like A1, A2, maybe B1, B2, somewhere around there right now. So, yeah, I mean, if we take the cap, we have a cap advantage. We have a minor point advantage, but I don't think we'll hold, because the Iowa, I think, should die relatively soon, as Arlios in Smolensk is obviously going to do the same thing that I was doing to his team's battleship earlier, spam him full of HE, and set fires, and hopefully, battleship dies. Yeah, there he goes. So I'm looking at the situation, I'm going, okay, we're going to have a cap advantage. I know, relatively speaking, where their CV is. Maybe that's what I should do, right? I mean, a Montana and a Minotaur against a Vladivostok and a Smolensk, I mean, should be okay. I mean, unless the Montana completely potatoes, we should be okay. We've only got like 3.5 minutes left, right? So I've really got to make a good decision here. I decide that I'm going to shoot what I can, do what damage I can, and then I'm going to go over and see if I can deal with that carrier. Carrier planes. Alright, so pop the new sector reinforcement thing, hit the DFAA. I want to try to take down as many planes as possible, so obviously, less annoyances for me and my team, obviously. And again, if the attention's on me right now, that's perfect, right? If the CV doesn't go and bomb and, ruin the concealment of the other ships on my team, fantastic. That's perfect, right? I want to be that target, I guess, because my AA, I know, is relatively good, and I can deal with it. Okay, so I'm going to spam some shells into the Vladivostok, because why the hell not, and see if I can maybe get a fire here. Okay, the Lexington has been spotted, and the Lexington is within range. So again, first get these HE shells onto target here. Come on. Come on. Okay, there you go, fire. Okay, with fire done, turn around, load AP. And I did mention, if you get broadside targets like this one, watch the AP, because the AP will do damage. I kid you not, the AP will hurt. So let's take a look at what happens to this Lexington. And look at this, just like absolute spewing of armor-piercing shells. Yeah, there's my Confederate. Oof, yep, there's a torpedo bomber coming in. Gotta do the sector thing real quickly. I'm okay with the amount of HP that I have and the heal I've got. I'm sure I'll be okay taking a few airplane torpedoes here and there. I'm just gonna try to gun down this Lexington as quickly as I can. Team needs a bit of a point flip right now. 741 to 770. We've got 2 minutes left. Really need this Lexington to die. Okay, the Vladivostok has actually sunk on Minotaur. That's a bit of a point flip again. Yeah, gotta gun down this Lexington fast. And hopefully a Montana can survive, although the position on the Montana is not perfect, but hopefully that Montana will hold out. Okay, switch to HE for a little bit while the Lexington was getting himself turned around. Okay, there's another attack squadron coming in. Pop DFAA, pop sector again. And then switch back to armor piercing. And that Lexington, as you can see, the HP has just melted off in pretty record amount of time. And another AP salvo here. One more AP salvo. And this is like guaranteed to finish him off. No problem at all. Alright, so CV is down. CV doesn't have any other planes other than the squadron that was attacking me, and I managed to shoot down quite a bit of those aircraft as well. So, okay, with that CV sunk, we have the minor point advantage. Still got a Montana at 41,000 HP, so if the Montana just angles and runs and does things correctly, we should be okay. He is behind some sort of cover, so Vladivostok isn't getting shots off right away, and their Smolensk is trying, but probably not going to melt 40k HP off of Montana in 40 seconds. So that's pretty much this game. 190, I think it was eventually got like 192,000 damage because I think I clipped somebody else with a shell or something like that. But that's pretty much Smolensk. She is just absolutely ridiculous. Oh, other things I forgot to mention. Remember that surface conceal 10 kilometers? Well, if you get a DD to work with you as a partner kind of thing, with the amount of firepower you've got, you can sort of hang back a little bit, let a destroyer go in front to spot, but if they spot like enemy destroyers, it's actually not difficult for you to like absolutely devastate a destroyer at like the beginning of the game. That's entirely doable. So yeah, I mean, what's not to like about Smolensk? Final results here: 191,000 damage. I mean, 860 hits total, 15 fires set, shot down 19 aircraft. 472,000 credits earned, 7,276 experience, and that's, you know, with like nothing fancy camos and no EXP flags and stuff like that. So all pretty good in this kind of situation. And I did manage to get Confederate. Bit sad that I didn't get any kind of like Witherer or, you know, high caliber. Witherer is another one of the medals that you can farm with Smolensk pretty easily, because I've actually done that and just farmed Witherer. Sometimes you can get Witherer like really, really quickly and really early on in the game. So take a look and you'll see that, yeah, our miniature did some work too as well. I mean, 2,050 base experience, that's pretty good. And of course, you know, the other Smolensk on the other team in the form of Arlios, yeah, top of the team, you know, Smolensk, this thing can do freaking work. I mean, honestly, if their team Smolensk had all gotten together and like teamed up, this battle I don't think would have gone so well for my team, because that level of firepower would have been absolutely murderous. So in terms of damage here, 87,000 from high explosive, 46,000 from armor piercing, 56,000 from fires. So, you know, pretty good distribution of damage all around. And yeah, I mean, what's more to be said? She's incredible. Like, Smolensk is an incredible ship. She does require some skill, of course, in terms of positioning, things like that. But once you figure that stuff out, this ship is like amazing to play and horrible to play against, because I do not want to be on the receiving end of what the ship is capable of. Credits earned, however, not spectacular. She's got some regular credit earning from what I can tell, but hey, in this game, 321,000 with a premium count, 163,000 without it. So, you know, not a credit earning ship, but other than that, she is absolutely fantastic. Anyways, folks, I hope you enjoyed this ship review of the Smolensk. Let me know your comments in the comment section below. Aside from all that, take care, have a good one, and I'll talk to all of you again soon.